Welcome back to Cats and Camo. We're shooting the SCCY CPX-2. I've got it loaded to capacity. And even though it's a carry gun, we're going to do the same steel challenge that I use on full-size guns. So to start with, we're going to double tap the torso on the left, and then we're going to attempt to knock down each of the 5 zombie heads, and then double tap the torso on the right. I have 10 rounds to accomplish this, and that's 9 hits that I need to make. If I do make it and I've got this one shot left, we have added, clear out at 40 yards, we have an 8-inch gong that I get one shot at, the SCCY CPX-2 9mm steel challenge. Before we go any further, you need to explain what your obstacle course is like, because it has nothing to do with the steel challenge thing that I did.
No, it does not. In fact, it is quite different than anything we've really done before. So this is a brand new setup. Right now behind me what I have are bowling pins and of course shaving cream.
So, Allie's going bowling. SCCY style. You are loaded and chambered.
It ran away in fear.
I thought about doing the same thing. You jerked that one.
I felt that one. Oh my gosh, I shot the cap off! Alright everyone, we are back from the range with our SCCY CPX-2.
A couple surprises with this gun, actually. I'm really glad we had a chance to review it. Remember our scoring system? We have 8 categories where they rank from 1 to a 5. We're going to start off with comfort of grip. This is a comfortable gun. It fits your hands really well, and you like holding it. I gave it a 4.
I would have to agree. This is a very comfortable gun to hold. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It's just comfortable to hold. It fits my hand nicely. In some cases I was afraid that these things would actually have an effect on shooting it, but it didn't. So yeah, 4 out of 5.
We're off to a good start. Let's talk about the sights. I actually really like the sights on this. I'm only giving it a 3 because, to my knowledge, you can't upgrade these and put night sights on them. And if it's going to be a carry gun, if it's going to be in my rotation, I have to be able to put night sights on them because it's a thing for me. They have to glow in the dark.
For me, they did seem industry standard. I mean, they do stand out nicely. They are 3 white dot sights. And they met my expectations. So, 3 out of 5.
Let's talk about the trigger. This gun has the longest trigger pull and reset trigger pull of any gun I have ever shot.
Wow.
Enough that it makes it actually painful doing lots of shots. When I ran the steel challenge and ran through 9 shots, I had to steel myself not to flinch and not to move. It's a long trigger and it was unpleasant. It worked fine though. I'm gonna give it a 2.
I hate long pull triggers, and the longer you to make it, the more I'm not gonna like it. Plus, this gun actually firing the trigger hurt. I walked away from shooting this gun with a sore trigger finger. It just, in some cases I couldn't wrap my finger around it enough, and in other cases I wrapped around it too much. Where, again, either way...
Trying to find a comfortable spot to pull the trigger.
Exactly. So I ended up having to give it a 1.
Let's talk about perceived recoil. You can tell by the shape of the gun that the weight in this gun is all in the back part. It narrows, and so when it fires, there is, to me, a slightly unacceptable amount of muzzle flip, where it feels like there's more recoil than there actually is. I think that also is a flaw in the design. I know Kel-Tec makes a handgun that looks just like this, and I haven't fired that. But for this, I'm actually rating it a little bit below industry standard. I'm going to give it a 2 for recoil.
I'm actually going to have to disagree with him a little bit, where I actually liked that in this gun, where the weight was back here where I'm holding it. So if there was a bit of a muzzle pop, it was fine for me. It didn't affect me negatively. Of course, if I was more focused on the trigger, apparently, than I was this, but I like that, where it puts all of it here where you're holding it, as opposed to in here somewhere, where, I don't know, it just seems like it could go more wrong that way. I don't know. But to me, it worked. There was nothing wrong with it, so I gave it a 3.
Let's talk about accuracy. The accuracy of this gun really surprised me. I'm giving it a 4. It went where I wanted it to go. The steel challenge, for all that it hurt, I went 9 for 9 with it. If I am going to shoot it, I have a pretty good idea on where the bullet's going to go. That was a big positive.
It just seemed industry standard. It was accurate. It didn't necessarily go on point every single time that I fired it. I mean, it took a couple shots, but it did hit. I mean, it might have taken 2 shots, but it still hit, you know? And I know that I could trust this gun accuracy-wise to hit the target, you know? So, I don't know. 3 just seemed an appropriate score.
Let's talk about ease of reload. The magazines seem to drop clean, but they're a little awkward to load. And then when you do push them in, there's a lip here. And I know they come standard with just the flat base plates that you can swap out, but then you lose the finger grip. These magazines have a tendency, especially when they're fully loaded, to not seat properly. They don't push all the way in, and because it's angled, you have to do a little rolling motion to put more tension on the front to get it to click into place. So again, good and bad, and I'm going to average that out to a 3. Just call it average.
I would have to agree where in putting a new magazine in, sometimes you have to either double hit it in or really slam it in. But I love the button. It dropped clean. Other than that, it's a slight adjustment. If you just get used to it, knowing you have to slam it harder in, then I think it works just fine. I think it would fit an industry standard score, which is what I gave it, as a 3.
We'll move on to reliability, and I'm giving this gun a 3 on reliability because it was a little bit ammo picky. A couple of the lighter loads that use the aluminum casings, it has some trouble cycling those clean, but on the heavier ammo, it seemed to work much better.
This was the very first time that I shot it, so I got to shoot one type of ammo through this gun. And with that ammo, it worked. There was no jams, there was no fails to eject. It fired every time that I pulled the trigger. And so I think that this would be a reliable gun. It, you know, no problems with it. It went boom. So 3 out of 5.
For our last category, ease of maintenance and cleaning, I gave it a 3. I probably would have given it a 4, but this gun is worn a little bit where the barrel can actually, it doesn't lock up solid, and it can tilt just a little bit, and if you're not careful, you have a difficult time getting the slide to fit back on.
It seemed almost a hassle to try to put this gun back together. Taking it apart was easy, it seemed like. But when you had to put it back together, it seemed like it was too complicated. You had to hold the frame just right for the barrel to go in. In some cases, the more complicated it is to disassemble and reassemble a gun, the less likely someone is to want to clean it. Because it's like, I don't want to deal with that. So for that reason, I gave it a 2.
Let's total up our scores. I gave it a 24.
My score added up to a 22.
Now before we let you go, I want you to know that the retail price on this, suggested, is only $314.
Well, that's not bad at all.
And you can find this gun at gun shows and online for $250.
Wow,
and
that's
for what the price is. If you need an inexpensive gun to carry for self-defense or to have in a glove compartment in your truck locked safely away, but it's there when you need it, this is a solid choice.
Oh yeah, no, for that price, totally. Yeah, perfect.
Changes it a little bit.
Yeah.
However, we're standing by our scores.
Thank you guys so much for stopping by today. And if you enjoyed this video, please point those crosshairs at the like button down below. And make sure to stay tuned for more reviews coming soon. See you then.